Last week, Olympic sprinter Usain Bolt predicted the return of his rival Tyson Gay, saying, quote, "People like to see showdowns." Right around the time that Bolt said this, two other showdowns were starting to heat up. One was a soccer match between Iran and South Korea, and the other one was the Iranian presidential election. These two events were somehow linked. The Financial Times ran a story saying that a loss for the Iranian soccer team would spell bad news for the incumbent candidate Ahmadinejad in the election. If your political career hangs on the outcome of a sporting event, something is probably going wrong. The soccer players themselves joined into the political fray wearing green armbands in solidarity with the opposition candidate Mir Hossein Mousavi. The soccer match ended in a 1-1 draw, but the election was a landslide victory for Ahmadinejad. Supporters of Mousavi cried foul, saying that the election had been rigged, and hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets. Suddenly, the top trend on Twitter was the Iran election, and thousands of people added green to their avatars in support of the Mousavi side of this showdown. And there's lots and lots of green. But showdowns can get complicated. Time magazine ran a story this week suggesting that we shouldn't just assume that Ahmadinejad lost. The only Western poll that was reliable so far said that he won by an even greater margin than he suggested, which would mean that all that green is in support of overthrowing a democratically elected leader. But is Ahmadinejad actually a leader? I know he's a president, but Iran has a supreme leader who just ordered the Guardian Council to investigate the election. If that's confusing, here's a little primer. In Iran, men and women over the age of 18 can vote for their president. They can also vote for members of the parliament. The president has to answer to the supreme leader, who is not elected and gets to appoint pretty much all the powerful positions in government, including 6 out of the 12 members of the Guardian Council. The Guardian Council can veto any legislation put forth by the parliament and has to approve any candidate for public office. And it gets even more complicated, but the point is there's a group of people who are disgruntled with the government. They've decided to take out this frustration by protesting the president. But in a way, that's like being frustrated with the programming on PBS and staging a protest against Kermit the Frog. But nobody said it would be easy being green, and hopefully these protests have a positive effect on Iran as a whole. And we can agree with the supreme leader at least on one thing, that we hope eventually the best and most deserving person will be elected.